first started September 2015 in second year of university because I wasn't really happy with how I was, like my grades in first year, so I decided to start freelancing and improve my employability skills. So I started writing articles, sociological stuff, and taking pictures as well. So I created my own social media pages on Instagram and Tumblr, and I use InDesign and Photoshop mainly because there was a lot of workshops in first year for Photoshop and InDesign, so I used that to kind of push myself to become a freelancer for photography and magazine editing.
I started as a freelancer last year, January 2015, and I think what made me start was I wanted to do something that I knew I was good at, and I've always been doing presenting jobs, but it was mostly in front of the camera. So when I decided to do radio, I just wanted to try something new, and I wanted to work on my presenting skills. What I did not know was that I was going to fall in love with it.
I started as a freelancer late 2011, doing my own photography, Photoshop designs. So I just randomly went on Photoshop because I started on, what's that thing called? It's called Picnic. Everyone used to use on the internet to design photos. People actually used to love my designs. So I started using Photoshop, went on YouTube, went on tutorials, and I taught myself how to use it. So I've been using Photoshop since.
I started off as a freelancer around about 2014 or so. When I came to university, I downloaded Virtual DJ on my laptop and I started using it quite regularly. So that's where my interest in mixing beats and stuff started to grow, and also it's led on to a recent opportunity where I've been offered a job opportunity to DJ locally, so yeah, that's how it goes.
I started freelancing when I was at uni, in my first year actually. There was a poster up in one of the uni buildings asking for people that were interested in working for a local production company. I started doing a few bits and pieces, and then that sort of carried on throughout my uni until the point when I graduated. I was already basically working full-time as a freelancer, and I just sort of carried on. And that's it. I've never had a job, never had a boss, only ever been freelance. I don't know if it's about benefits really, it was about necessity. The nature of the industry, the nature of the work, there aren't jobs. There's no choice. I mean, so I don't really know anyone that does the sort of work that I do that is employed or has an employer and all of that kind of stuff. It's just freelance is how the industry works.
I haven't had a highest moment yet because I just started, but I do enjoy taking pictures of the ways that I like taking pictures, because there's a lot of photographers that have a certain way of how they like to take pictures and what people like to write about, with my magazine that I'm reading. Loads of it is written kind of brainwashed, but I like to write in sociological ways. So yeah.
I think the best moment of freelancing is probably at the point when you stop worrying about about where the next paycheck's coming from or when the next job's going to come in. I think there's an argument to say maybe that never comes, but certainly the first 3 or 4 years where I was working 20-hour days, 7 days a week, just to try and make ends meet, basically bringing home no money at all, were really, really hard. And constantly stressing, constantly sending out business cards or going to events or trying to meet people, trying to make things happen. But there does come a point, quite a magical point with freelancing, where you realise that you haven't had to think about what the next job's going to be for a few months, and you've got enough notoriety or enough of a network of other people that you're working with that the work becomes self-sustaining, and I think that's a really magical time.
I think it was actually mixing beats on a physical deck rather than virtual DJ itself, because that's what I usually use when I'm mixing music. But for me, it was like a euphoric feeling because I actually felt the whole DJ more in depth, and things like that. Doing it over time helped me to develop my passion for it as well.
You know, just every moment is a highlight for me because it's just I just get to do everything I love. You know what I mean? Oh, and I got to film Bungie Garlin and Fairlines, two of the biggest soca artists out of Trinidad in the Caribbean. Yeah, BBC One Extra. And it was a good experience.
People's reaction have been great actually. I've got a lot of support from social media, from family and friends. A lot of them actually come to the studio, and I've made up to weekly guests, and it's just been amazing. I did think that people would take it like lightly, like, more unseriously because it's freelancing, but it's been amazing, and I put it in my CV, which actually helped me get jobs. So yeah.
I think some people, freelancing really works for some people, and it really makes a lot of sense to some people. Like I say, it's all I've ever done, and so it makes a lot of sense to me. Some people would feel really threatened by it. I like the flexibility of it, and that suits my working habits. But it also suits the nature of the practice. I mean, when you're an artist and you're working on commissions and residencies and festivals, the nature of the work is that you're responding to those situations, and that suits being a freelancer. It's not like working in a bank or working in a call centre. I'm doing a different thing every day, so that's very different to a traditional job. It wouldn't suit everyone.
I think the worst mistake I've probably made so far is probably not advertising myself in as much as I should have. Maybe I could have done more in that area by building more links and stuff, and attending more events and things like that in first year as well.
I didn't back up my footage properly.
Oh.
Actually, it wasn't really my fault. It's just that my hard drive just failed on me.
Oh damn.
So in order for me to get the footage off the hard drive, I would have to risk of wiping it and then get someone to restore the but yeah, it's one of the biggest mistakes I made. And not advertising myself properly.
I'm still learning. Well, maybe I have made a mistake along the way, but I don't know yet. Until like, maybe if I applied to like another company and they told me, oh, the way you've been going about your freelancing isn't the right way, then maybe I'll know when I've made my mistake.
The worst mistake I ever made being a freelancer, I think, is thinking that I was going to be rich. I started out with a real mentality that I was going to be like an entrepreneur, and I was going to, that I was going to be a superstar. And actually, what I realised is that actually what I could be very easily is happy. I've got a house, and I'm lucky I've got a house, and I don't have to worry about work, and I can put food on the table. But I don't think I'm ever going to be a millionaire.
My advice to upcoming freelancers is to go for it. If you want to do this, don't be afraid. I mean, if you find something that you love to do and you believe that you're good at it, because obviously you have to believe that you're good at it, and then everyone else will believe that you are good at it. So if you find something that you feel, I really enjoy doing this, go for it. You never know how it will work out for you at the end.
The main piece of advice I'd give to people who are interested in freelancing is work. Work really, really hard. Don't expect to make lots of money, certainly not straight away. Don't expect to have a regular income. I've still, after 16 years of freelancing now, I still have 1 year where I make 3 times as much money as the year before. And so what's really important is that you do as much work as you possibly can as soon as possible and build networks, because I still today get phone calls from people that I haven't worked with for maybe 10 years, but they want to work with you again, and that's because of that network that you've gradually found out over time. It's about a long game, not about month to month.
If you find yourself a creative person, then you should definitely use a social media platform or go on certain websites like Squarespace, I think it's called, and just create your own portfolio.
So this is getting contacts, so
Yeah.
getting to know a lot of people, so getting to know big designers, big photographers, big graphic designers, big videographers, big cinematographers, big directors. Just get contacts. Even if you're just a photographer, those list of people will
Yeah.
give you a single job that could pay you $1,000 in
Yeah.
less than 2 hours, literally.
Yeah.
So get your contacts, jot it down, network, advertise yourself. Make sure you're on every social media platform, because that's what is running now. That's what's trending. That's what you
That's
have
what
to,
everyone's
as a
on.
young person and
Yeah.
as a freelancer in the media industry, you have to go with the trend, because everything's trending.
The keys to success, and the thing I always say to people is, if you are good at what you do, people will pay you to do it. And that is absolutely true. You need to be really good, and if being mediocre isn't good enough when you're a freelancer. But that said, you need to be nice. The people that I know that have established really, really good freelance careers are the people that companies want to hire, that people want to work with. If you're a dick, people might book you once, but they'll never book you a second time. And so being willing, working hard, turning up on time, being friendly, being approachable, having a laugh, being professional. You need to be a nice person to be around, because freelancing is not like booking a company to do a job. It's all about a personal relationship between two people. So be nice, and the world will be nice to you.
So when you're applying to like media companies for those certain positions, it's good to build a name for yourself or a brand, because those people ask who you know or where you've come from. So it's best to have a brand for yourself so that you can create your own fan base and have that recognition of yourself to bring to your interview or anywhere that you're going as a freelancer.
Social media is really important, especially for freelancers. It's like an amazing way to get your work out there. You should really use stuff like Facebook, YouTube, especially for people that make short films and stuff like that. Twitter is really good. And there's so many social networking sites that you can use to show your work, and you can never know who's going to view it, and maybe someone will see your work and hire you. So definitely use social media if you want to get into freelancing.
My advice for freelancers is that co-work with others. We have a kind of place called co-working places for freelancers. It's like you have a relatively isolated place to work in for your individual works, and you also have the chance to share ideas with other freelancers, and also like broaden your resource and build your own society in this kind of working places, because you're actually working in a place that is full of other freelancers. And this places is not so formal. It's not like some office. The atmosphere is really, really relaxing. You can just have a cup of coffee with some other freelancers when you are working, and you may come up some new ideas with them. I don't know, you can figure it out.
Definitely go to as many companies as you can and show them your portfolio, hand out your CV to different agencies who can possibly hire you, and make sure you could even make a business card and hand that out and show your work so people can get in contact with you if they like what you see. It's definitely important to get your work out there and link with people and, get your name out there.
So Pioneer Enterprise is an amazing way to get more information or to link with other people and get advice from people that are already freelancers. So you should definitely look that up to get more information.
Yeah, so I can just ask some information about part-time jobs, placement thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool.
Be true to yourself and never settle for less. Always, trust me.
It's very rewarding, and I'm very happy that I did step into the freelancing market, and it's just waking up and feeling like I am happy doing this. That's just everything to me.